Hey y'all, hey! It's Patty with Giddy Things. Welcome back to day 147. Is that right? Or is it 48? I think it's day 148 of our 5-minute in name only exercise encouragement. How are you? I'm doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am Svitzy. Woo! And I have worked out my upper body. I did the Hansel and Gretel workout. Ooh, the phone is listing. Okay. I did my Hansel and Gretel workout with my 2-pound weights. That's the up. And I'm not gonna demonstrate because that means I have to exercise some more. And I have fulfilled my obligation for the day. So, and it is an obligation to take care of myself. So, what has been up with you today? I am currently turning that tripod and having a smoothie. My smoothie says make today amazing, and boy has it been, and it continues to be. I am so grateful for you. If it is your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Big Blue House. Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back. No copyright infringement, please. You rested and now you have to work out. No, you don't. Check with your doctor to make sure that it's okay for you to exercise and that it's safe for you. I have been resting a lot today because Poncho and Lefty are still sort of out of commission. Lefty was getting better, but here's the way it works with my hypermobility. If I get up and start walking at any moment with the cane, little Matilda here, with the cane or without the cane, my knee could dislocate. I mean, that is just bottom line. So I had gotten up and I was like, ooh, feels really, ow, you know, oh, that's good, ow. So it's okay, it's all good, and it is run of the mill. And actually, and I think I may have mentioned this before in videos, is a lot like when I was a kid. As I've lost the weight, that ironically, I want to get the camera straight for y'all. It keeps listing. I'm sorry, I looked at myself there just even making a play whiny face and I annoyed myself. If I'll ever done that, that's why I guess I'm not a big complainer, is because I just get so tired of myself. Again, who was it? I think Toni Morrison, who said we need to get over our little selves, and that's kind of the way I feel whenever I even fake that I'm complaining or get a whiny tone to my voice. I'll complain and then go, oh, I'm to even just mock the complaining. Not myself, not mocking myself. But anyway, all that aside, I did do the 5-minute that I've been linking in the description, the 5-minute upper body exercise, and I'm about to go take a shower. I'm excited. I have to work myself up for that because it's not a straightforward thing, as I explained to you recently, right? So I am in a place where I'm ready to get started on some new projects. I've finished out a semester. I need to build the rest of my children's literature course that I'm building to teach for the first time at this institution. I'm really happy about that. I've been with my current college for 14 years, I think. In the spring semester, if God says the same, it will be 15 years. Before that, I was with another institution for 6 years where I was an adjunct and a full-time instructor. And then I was an adjunct there at the same time I worked someplace else for 8 years. So does that add up? Yes, because 8 years at the first place, then 6 years of teaching at the next place. And then I moved into an administration position and did curriculum management and development and loved it. I still love it. That's why I love writing the courses. I wrote this children's lit course and I'm so excited about it. I'm going to be teaching teachers, which is exciting. And then I did that for a few years, and then I went back to the classroom because I just missed being with my students. And of course, now I teach live via Zoom. Due to my disability, it makes it easier for me, safer for everyone if I'm not trying to navigate the campus. And I guess I have the silly goose personality that makes attending my live classes worthwhile, I guess, because people keep doing it and people keep filling up the classes. And I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful and thankful. I don't know what it is, but for some reason they like it. And so I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, working hard, trying to give them the feedback that they need. I really do enjoy it. One of the things that has been a problem with the advent of artificial intelligence used generatively, I got that word out, generatively, that obviously you probably understand this, but just for the sake of argument, I'm going to say, not that we're arguing, generative AI is when someone goes in and uses a prompt to get all of their work. Like, say they're writing an essay and they just take the assignment and tell the AI to fulfill the assignment, and it does. And it's really obvious. I don't think students know that it's obvious yet, but I think they're going to learn that. It's super, super obvious. And there are a variety of reasons. I've actually been trained to detect that kind of thing and to help students get past it, because you can't really ever treat someone like they've been evil because they've plagiarized it anyway, whether that was getting someone else to write their paper, just cobbling things together from the internet, or using artificial intelligence in a generative fashion. You really can't get anywhere shaming people. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it to make people feel bad about themselves. And so you help someone over that. Do the academic consequences stand? Well, yeah, they do, right? There's some things we have to do, as I'm sure you're nodding your head right now, to make sure we're being fair to all the students who are working hard to do their own work. But you can give people a chance without breaking the ethical code of being fair to everyone. You really can. And sometimes it takes years of being a teacher. I've been a teacher for nearly 30 years, and I'm very grateful. I love it so much. I love my students. I love the kind of lifestyle that it affords, just the slow living and the ability to be creative and to think critically. And my feedback to students, it's hard, right? It's hard. Teaching is hard, but my goodness, anything worth doing is hard, no matter how much you love it, right? It's still going to be an exercise in discipline and in ethics and every other kind of thing you can imagine that comes up in the soft skills and the hard skills of life. So that AI thing again, I think students are just kind of having a honeymoon phase with it and thinking that it's going to solve their problems, and it's not. It's so not. And despite the fact that they're going to get caught, right? And some students will try to push that. Of course, if you do it more than one time in college, it's going to be an even bigger deal. Especially, there are some teachers who aren't going to give you any chances whatsoever with it because they have a different teaching philosophy from the one that I have. But I don't get a lot of AI because my students know up front how it's going to be dealt with. I give them examples of how, without getting too detailed, how I'm going to know if it's generated through AI. And I don't set it up as a shame-based sort of topic in the class. You know, you do not have to be evil to plagiarize. All you have to have is an 8 a.m. deadline, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, it's 2 a.m., and you have internet access and you're desperate. That's really all it takes. I loved school, and I loved writing, but that's not true for everyone. And I got to be honest, if the math help that's available now for some of these students had been available for me because I didn't enjoy math as much, I don't know how I might have responded to that. I hope I would have done the work myself, but I don't know. I am a human being just like everybody else. And I think as long as you give your students the respect that a human being deserves, and, you know, have a good sense of humor while staying fair to everyone, everything works out okay. And I think the key for teachers is not to get mad. I've thought about starting a video series for teachers and just the soft skills that go along with teaching and some tips and tricks. And to be honest, not taking anything personally is the key to teaching now, as it always has been. You know, when I taught middle school for a little while at the beginning of my teaching career, I wanted to teach college the whole time. I really, really did. But when I got to teaching middle school, I really loved it. And it took a lot of a salary increase. And back then, when I started teaching middle school, Louisiana middle school teachers were only making $18,000 a year, something crazy like that. And so it was, you know, a significant raise in pay to get to, excuse me, my eye was itchy, to get to the college level. And when I did, I was very grateful. Teaching people is teaching people, whether it's pedagogy, which is the teaching of K through 12, or if it's andragogy, which is higher education and tertiary education. So again, the soft skill of not taking things personally, I cannot tell you how important that is in teaching, in parenting, in a lot of ways. Students are working through things. And obviously, if someone is disrespectful, which happens, I mean, y'all, I can't even tell you all the stuff that's happened because some of it I'm prohibited by law to share with you and not to talk about it because it's a state secret. But honestly, getting to the point where you can look at it with a not distracted and not really distanced, because you do have to love people. That's part of my teaching philosophy. You have to love people to teach people, but the first line of my teaching philosophy is I teach to make people more free. Right? And so more free means that I have to walk with them through those difficult times, which means I have to be the teacher. I have to be, for lack of a better word, because I teach adults, I have to be the ultra adult in the room and make sure that I'm staying calm and professional as much as possible. Again, if somebody's being terribly disrespectful in a way that is frightening, or and most of the time it's just incredibly disruptive, you can take care of that real quickly. It's so funny because my students will talk about this, especially my students had me 10 years ago or 20 years ago or whatever, will be like, yeah, you know, when you asked people to leave the classroom, it just made me want to stare at my lap, but you weren't yelling. And I mean, the only thing that you can really do is approach it the way you would approach it as a parent, just knowing those aren't your offspring and you know, it's a professional setting. But my thing was usually if people were being disruptive, I would make an overall statement like, man, I'm just chattering and rambling, but it's okay. Tales from teaching, right? And I would make a statement like, hey, we've got some chatter, that's going to need to stop, right? And then if you've got your glasses on, there are a variety of teacher looks, right? That's one of them. I'll just share that one for today. Maybe I'll save the others for the video series. But once you've done that and you've cut the look out at the classroom, you've flashed the look out there, the next step is to immediately address the people. And you can just look and you can say, ladies, gentlemen, folks, students. If you know their names, which I typically do, you can use their names. So we'll say Bob and Jennifer. These are no specific students. You need to be able to get the chatter under control. So once I've said that, if it happens a third time, and this is in my syllabus, in my syllabus, I should read you a line from my syllabus someday. It literally says, if I tell you to leave the classroom, don't ask me why, just get up and leave, right? And that's in any situation. And so I'll just look at them and go, you need to leave. Maintaining eye contact, but not making my face look mean or intimidating or angry, just you need to leave. And people typically don't go beyond, really, to be honest, students typically don't go beyond, we've got some chatter and it needs to stop because it's distracting and disruptive. Right? That's typically all it takes. If you get to the point of, Bob, Jennifer, you know, you're going to have to cut that out or you're going to need to leave. That typically does not ever even get that far. But if it does, you're probably going to have to go to step 3, which is, baby, what's wrong with you? Get out, right? I have said that. I have said to younger students, baby, what's wrong with you? You're going to need to get out. But if they're younger, I tell them where they need to land, right? There was even an occasion where I got a colleague to watch my classroom because one of my students really was having some emotional difficulties, and that part was not funny at all. And I needed to follow him to the office he was going to because he wanted to go alone, and I hid. He told me years later when he was a grown man that he knew that I was there and it was okay, that he felt good that I was there with him, but he didn't want to acknowledge it because he wanted to feel like he could go on his own. So those are the magical and scary sometimes moments of teaching, but it's just a wonderful life. A wonderful life. I thought I would share that with you, and I also want to know what you're doing today to make yourself feel as special as you truly are. You're so special. You're so wonderful. I don't know when we started getting these negative, I kind of do, negative connotations associated with the word special. But the word special is sacred. It's sacred, right? There's nobody else like you, and you are so loved. I certainly love you so much, and I hope you will go with me in peace and love to serve others. Please do continue to pray for the world with a special whispered prayer for the beautiful Ukraine.